In a story that proves that basically anything can be news. Naomi, an update on Naomi, if you could call it that, because Naomi recently changed her handle on Instagram to just Trinity Fatu and not Trinity Fatu WWE. The reason I'm one of those people that would sit there and say that that's not news, that's just her changing her social media handle. Who cares? Whoop de freaking do. But one point that was made from Cultaholic during the video was that it is possible that the reason why she changed her name is not because of the reasoning that you would think. It is because, much like people not realizing Randy Savage's brother is Lenny Poffo, because that there are people that don't know Randy Savage's real name is Poffo. There are people that don't know that Naomi is related to the Usos. So it is possible from, using that logic, it is possible using that logic that if you want to, if you want to use that logic, then what about changing her name to direct fans to realize that she is actually related to the Usos, and that if the company wants to keep the bloodline together, that they could have Naomi come back and replace Sami Zayn in the bloodline alongside her husband. And instead of basically having her come back as Naomi, have her come back and say that that era of her career is over, and that she is ready to embrace the family lineage and refer to herself as Trinity Fatu. I think that is something that is worth considering and should be kept in mind, because I think it would be a good idea. It's like they said on the Cultaholic show, on the Cultaholic news video, that it would be something that now they want to see, because it'd be a brand new way for WWE to use somebody that has been under the company's banner for an extended period of time, and at least it would give WWE the ability to bring back somebody as talented as Naomi. Speaking of the women's division, though, Sonya Deville was injured during a house show this past weekend in a triple threat match with Liv Morgan and Charlotte Flair, as she basically was cut above her eye again, like she was at the Royal Rumble. She suffered a cut above her eye and was removed from the match to address the cut. She got, I believe, 7 stitches above her eye, or right next to her eye. And basically, it goes right along with the injury she sustained during the Royal Rumble, where she got cut above her eye. And the worst part is, from what I understand, it is the same eye that she got the injury on during the Royal Rumble. So it's kind of like bad luck for Sonya Deville over the last couple of weeks. But the one thing I would like to point out is that it seems like WWE is allowing injuries to be taken a little bit more seriously, even slight injuries or minor injuries, that they are allowing injuries to be taken a little bit more seriously and are not going to just expect the talent to work through them, that if the talent would be better off getting pulled from the matchup, that WWE expects their talent to do exactly that. But I wish nothing but the best to Sonya Deville. Even though the injury was minor, I wish nothing but the best for her in the recovery, whatever that might be. Now, an interesting note from Gunther, who spoke in an interview recently, saying that there was a time when Brock Lesnar would fight. Brock Lesnar was young and he would fight the likes of Eddie Guerrero and Undertaker and, the previous guard. That basically Gunther looks at Brock Lesnar as his final boss of sorts and would love the opportunity to fight Brock Lesnar. And if you remember a couple of years ago, when Bobby Lashley, when he returned, his main goal was to fight Brock Lesnar. So I think now one of the few matches left for Brock before he hangs it up is with Gunther. God, can you imagine that type of match? To continue down the road, though, Bayley will actually be returning to NXT next week to host an interview segment with, I think, what's the segment called? Ding Dong, Who's There? Or something to that effect. She's going to be hosting an interview segment to allow Toxic Attraction to work through their issues as Toxic Attraction let the grandeur of becoming champion affect their partnership during the triple threat match at NXT Vengeance Day. And basically, the question now is Toxic Attraction still together? I guess we will find that out on Tuesday when Bayley makes a return to NXT to host Ding Dong Who's There with guests Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. But speaking of NXT, Dragon Lee is somebody that is expected to begin working down at NXT before making his way up to the main roster. That what is holding up the debut of WWE's newest signing is visa issues. Of course. What else would it be? Because it seems like anything that is, anything within WWE that if it has to do with people that don't live in America, it is 100% visa issues, as everybody seems to be having visa issues nowadays, getting to America to work for WWE. But Dragon Lee is said that they want to debut Dragon Lee in a similar fashion to how they used to debut talent in the Black and Gold era, which means setting them in the crowd and introducing them to the fans that way. Which, if WWE can do that, then, in my opinion, that would be a positive thing, because it was an interesting way to introduce talent, and it made fans who were curious who those people are go and look them up and say, oh, who's this? Oh, that's who this is. I'm excited to see them compete. It was an interesting way to have new talent debut for the company. And I would be happy to see WWE go back to doing. Speaking of something I'd be happy to see WWE go back to doing, on tonight on Raw, WWE is going the route of having that steel cage match take place that was supposed to take place on Raw 30 a couple of weeks ago. Bayley versus Becky Lynch will happen tonight on Raw inside of a steel cage. The match that was postponed due to time issues is set to take place tonight, and WWE is hyping it up just as much as they were back for the Raw 30 event. And this time, you hope that not only is it the headliner, but it is given the time that it would have been given on Raw 30. With that being said, though, we have a little bit more news to get to, including an AEW star that was taken away from doing independent dates last year, returning to his home base and a company that he previously held the world title in. But for that, you'll have to wait and find out in the next news video. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.